All right, what's going on, everyone? It's time. I feel okay. I feel like the streams have been a little slow recently, or like low energy. Not low energy. I don't know. I've been like lazy recently. I need more structure. All right, the perfect camera angle, calculated down to the nearest millionth in Euler angles. Um, yeah, what are we gonna do today? So we're gonna keep working on the upgrade menu. And here's what we have so far. I may or may not have looked at it before stream. It's already kind of satisfying to look at, though. All in all, I don't think we have run into too many complications making this system. Or in other words, it's gone pretty smoothly. It's taken a bit of time for sure, but I have not run into any errors that have slowed us down too much. Pretty much what we're going to be focusing on today is space management. So, for example, hold on, that one's kind of working though. How? What? Hmm. But then it seems like it broke there. I guess these are technically working. Trying to find an example where the solving doesn't really work. Also, okay. Probably have to fix our distance calculations somehow. Okay, well, there's an example of it happening right there. So, I think the best way to deal with this problem is to basically store in memory, like a width or a range of space, like a domain, I guess you could say, if you want to use like math, graph terms, that the node takes up. And the way that would work is, for example, this node would go from like here all the way to here. But then if we wanted to check it on this node, well, it would go from like here to here. But then if we look at, well, maybe we want to do that for the ports. But if we look at like this node, and this is kind of a better example, it would go from like here to here. And if we can also make our sorting algorithm conform to the boundaries we define, that could help give us more control for sure. I'm wondering though if there could potentially be an easier solution. I guess we could count the amount that are on this level that have like a shared parent, maybe. Like for this one. But I also feel like I need to fix the surface area calculations. Because it's moving too fast along the circle. Like, what's going on here? 1 to 0.5. Yeah. Left circle start, top start. 1 to 0.5, which... I guess if I try to think about the phase of the circle, yeah, I guess that would be correct. So that's fine. Is it just the proportions? Is that all? Capsule ratio half. Radius. Capsule length. Maybe it's something wrong with the capsule length. Capsule length equals radius times pi times capsule ratio divided by circle ratio. And that would currently be 0.5 divided by the circle ratio, which I think is going to be 0.5. That would be 1, right? So the capsule length is going to be 1 times pi. But we do have two sides, so I guess there is that to consider. Maybe I could just try doing that. What if that fixes it? Because yes, that would give us the length. But we need to account for there being like, I don't know. Maybe this will do something. Or we'll just get the same problem, but now the capsule will be squashed. Oh, I should have just like eyeballed it and tried to determine whether it's actually taking up the correct proportion of space. Right now it looks like it's in total not even the size of one of these circles. We need to multiply by 2? And I can't tell if they're more compressed or not. I guess they are. I mean, the distribution should be the same, right? We most likely, I mean, I guess I should say ideally, we will need a function to also work in spatial units as well, not just like factor, like between 0 and 1. So we'll have to figure out how to do that. Are they squashing evenly now? Not quite, but it looks better. And then if we ever did run out of space, then we can just increase the radius here. Although I think I might want to make the icons smaller. Yeah. Although the distance with the connections might be okay. Yeah, and the sorting seems inconsistent. Well, is there like a magic number I need here? Times tau? No, that's gonna be times 2 though. It's gonna be the same thing. I think. Maybe square root of 2? I don't know. Yeah, it's still more squashed on the top and bottom. Hmm. I think what we have here though for the capsule length is I can't say it's necessarily more correct. Although I should look at the surface area again. Because right now it should be half circles and half capsule. And based off of what I remember, it looks more correct now than it did before. What's going on there? Oh, I started adding in these empty attributes. Um, yeah, you know what? It looks like this top side could wrap around here, and then the bottom side could wrap around here, which is what we want. But it seems like there's still something else going on that is messing up our distribution. Top start 1. I suppose. Map equals remap position.x. Here, maybe I should like more specifically identify the problem. So these are almost touching now, and on some of the pixels it looks like they are. Then as we transition into the circle, it's like the distance between them suddenly changes, which is fair because we're not really working in the distance domain necessarily. Uh, and does it like ease into it, or does it? I think it starts immediately once we transition into the circle. Yeah. But also, what will we have to do to make this more even? Like, we would have to reduce the amount that are in here and put some of them in here, I think. Which could mean, I guess, our calculations could, or starting and ending and all that stuff could be wrong. Although the surface area of the two circles should be equal to the surface area of the two sides. So conceptually, like starting at 0.25, that should be where the bottom side starts. What if the sine function is just really fast? I don't know. You know, I guess it would move diagonally. Hold on, what is the square root of 2? It seemed like we could use that proportion here. The difference between the distance here and the distance here, it could be about that amount, like 1.4, which would mean this is about 140% or 40% farther. The center of this node is 40% farther to the center of this node than the center of this node to the center of this one. That seems plausible. So it could be like a square root of 2 problem. Which I guess makes sense because yeah, with like a circle, it's always square root of 2. I don't know. But what would the fix be at that point? I think we'd have to like account for that in our distribution points or something. Basically, we just need to adjust the amount of nodes that are being placed in different sections. That's kind of all we have to change. And yeah, I suspect it has to do with some of these constants here. We also have the circle ratio quarter. Circle ratio half. Hmm. Oh, yeah, another way to think of this is that mapping from 0 to 1 in a linear fashion is going to create less distance overall than mapping from 0 to 1 in like a radial fashion. But again, the surface area should be the same. Too much math. No, I mean, clearly not enough math. Oh, wait. uh, this should fix it. Square root of 2, right? And then it's just stretching them out more. Right, because I guess the I don't even know how to say it. Well, now it might actually not be proportional, correctly proportioned, but it should be spaced equally. Yeah, finally. It was very frustrating not having that work. I might adjust the ratios a little bit. Yeah, let me set the capsule ratio to like 0.3, which would make the capsule less long. Does this still work? Yeah, that's a bit better. Right, now we have to move on to like sorting the different regions here. And I don't know if we're going to be able to do it with a single like pass of recursion. Maybe. Trying to think. Okay. Obviously, we need some sort of more sophisticated sorting algorithm here. But let me just try increasing the angle between the different nodes really quick. I could find that. And again, we do want to be able to work at some point within the domain of length, not the factor. Okay, I like what it's doing there. How it's using all of the connected nodes as a way to sort it. That is creating like a good outcome But then this happens, and it's like, what the hell? Maybe that could be like part of the solution here. Is we check instead of, you know, all the children of this node, we actually check for this entire like ring here, but only with this as like a root, perhaps. It almost makes me feel like we need a sort of modification to our core data structure here. Or like an augmentation, like some sort of class or object that will basically keep track of the amount of children on every single layer, and anytime we add a child to one of the nodes, we just add it to that depth layer. And then all of the nodes can have a reference to that object, perhaps. Although nodes would have to be inserted at certain points if we wanted to have references to the nodes themselves. Yeah, and the angle would have to be like relative to this. Huh. We kind of do need the ability to access other parts of the hierarchy, though. Hmm. Maybe if this one just went straight out. Shoot. I don't know. Getting some ideas. Yeah. It's gonna be difficult to get the sorting perfect. Because even if we do just extend outwards, like infinitely, well then, there could still be like intersections with the connections. In theory. Having ideas. Ideas are formulating. Huh. Okay. What if we try to simplify some parts of this and not simplify other parts? So what if we did something like that would only work so well, though. What I was just thinking of. Hmm. Maybe if the layering is fine, it shouldn't matter too much. Our card system also had this problem, though, that we would eventually run out of space to keep, nesting things and stuff like that. Oh shit, we still have to make parameters. Yeah. Uh, damn. Okay, we're gonna move on, or we're gonna move forward and start implementing something here. I'm gonna make every section an equal portion, or equal proportional, basically, within its hierarchy. We're just gonna start with that. We have depth here. Why don't we add and before I was thinking of like going from the top level nodes down, like we determine the width that the top level nodes need, then we like incorporate that into the lower level nodes, but this would just be setting it beforehand and then distributing those nodes within that region. Let me call this region start. And we still need to be working at some point in terms of like length. Yeah. Let's start by getting a total length. Radius times tau, which is our circumference. Then we just add the capsule length. I assume. Oh yeah, because the halving is already done like here. So okay, hold on. I'm getting a headache. I need to go take something for that. I will be back uh in a few seconds. I hope you enjoyed the chair stream. Content stealing. I'm content stealing from Godot right now. I'm actually not very tired. I'm not particularly tired today. Okay, I had a horrible interaction in gaming. But yeah, actually. I had a very I had an interaction that made me like the boomer at the store or at the fast food place when like okay, I got to think of an example here quickly. Um Yeah, like the boomer when you go to McDonald's and the ice cream machine is broken, and it's like, and the boomer is like, these places have such, this place is very bad service. Customers are going to find out about this, and this place is going to go out of business very soon if this continues. This poor customer service. I guess like basically like this entitlement to good service without the recognition of what like working conditions might be like. Why the hell am I saying? Yeah, so like I had that. I was starting to get that when I was playing GTA 5 online. And I was trying to do the acid lab business. And I did all the missions and they were boring, of course, extremely drawn out. I hated it. It was awful. I don't know why I played the game. No, it seems like, but they did this in Red Dead Online as well, RDR2 Online. Um, but for a lot of the missions, you are just spending time like going from A to B, and you can tell that it's like this stretched out cheese string of content where like you have five clusters, more like three clusters of actual content in between all the cheese stringiness. Imagine the cheese doesn't have any flavor though, or like very underwhelming. Very, you've seen it before. You've literally been doing it constantly in the game. Like holding down W and traversing the world, that sort of thing. So not completely, you know, boring, especially in a game like that where you know you have cool cars and stuff. But it's like you could be doing this actual fun stuff. Yeah, I was going through all the missions. I hated it. It was terrible. I finally got to the 6th mission, which was the final mission of that series of quests before you got the Brigade 6x6, which is the vehicle you turn into the acid lab. And as I completed the very last mission, and of course, you know, all the enemies I was fighting have like insane health pools, and I get killed in like 7 shots. So I was pissed off the entire time. I was pissed off when I beat the mission. And as I beat the mission, like I drove to the freak shop. I parked the Brigade, and it did like the load. It said like mission you passed the mission, and then you know it showed me like a transition screen. Then it faded to black to load, and then my game crashed right as I entered that screen. So then I opened the game up again. I look at the next quest. There's another quest, but it's actually part of the subsequent quest line. In other words, the game. Hold on, I got it. Why? I'm trying to tell my story right now. Why are you doing this? This is terrible customer support on the part of the robots. Where was I? Yeah, so it crashed. I opened the game up again. I was able to do the next line of quests. So at this point, I should have had the Brigade, but then I looked in the freak shop and it just wasn't there. So then I basically figured out that I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure the game is bugged. Okay, if I had to give an actual number, I'm 95% sure the game, no, I'm 89% sure the game is bugged. So I contacted Rockstar support because I don't think none of the other players were able to help. I tried doing my Reddit research as the major league elite Redditor that I am. Didn't do anything, didn't yield any results. So I eventually contacted Rockstar support, and I was introduced to like 12 different AI robots through email, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And basically what ended up happening at the very end of it all was support got back to me and said, can you please wait until we fix this problem? We're definitely taking a look at it. We totally care about maintaining GTA 5 online at this point. We're totally taking a look at it. Okay? Just sit tight. We'll fix the problem. I was like, wow, there is nothing actually indicating that they're going to fix the problem. So I was like, hey, I'm just going to like keep the I'm just going to keep the support ticket open. I would like to keep the support ticket. I don't know. They might have closed it, but I would like to keep the support ticket open until the problem's actually solved. So now I'm trying to replay the entire quest line, which of course you can't access through the jobs menu for whatever the hell reason. I have a lot of gripes with their approach to that game. First of all, a lot of the menus are disjointed. So in order to like change your appearance, you have to press M, then you have to like go down to this thing. And then like shuffle around between all these menus and stuff. But you can also go to a shop and change your clothing that way. Like if you want to put together a new outfit, like you change your outfits in the M menu. You change your clothes and create outfits in the shop. But then there's also like a phone menu and like an immersive I don't know what the term is, but it's like in the game world as opposed to the pure UI. Like phone screen where you can go to the internet or whatever, the made up internet. And you can buy stuff there too, which, you know, maybe I can't say this is what they were going for, but you know, that approach has the ability to add some level of immersion. But also when I just want to spawn in like one of my cars, I have to like go through all these stupid menus, and half the time it doesn't even work because like, oh, the mechanic can't get there or this or that. And then you have to like wait for all the button sequences. You have to wait for all the loading prompts, like the phone to ring. Then you have to like tap on the up arrow a bunch of times. Sometimes NPCs will randomly call you when you're trying to like when you're in the middle of a fight, and then you just get killed because of it, because you like it basically stops you from being able to use your guns. But oh, I felt like I definitely have more to say on this. There's probably a way to get that sort of immersion without making it debilitating. Oh yeah, and when you are, you know, with the mechanic thing where you have to wait for the thing to beep boop or whatever, and sometimes the mechanic can't even get there. Sometimes it just doesn't ring. The mechanic doesn't pick up, and when you have to spawn in a vehicle literally dozens of times in a play session, and you have multiple play sessions, by the end of it, you are like actually you want to swan dive through a window, into a dumpster filled with fluffy pillows and cushions, so that you may then at that point be outside and can experience something besides that hell of a game. Not good connotation, but it is hell. It is hell if hell was turned into a game. But it's fun, so I played the game. But no, like it's also full of like exploiters and stuff like that, which is nice. The game crashes or freezes or something happens. You get disconnected every other mission, at least for me. But it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, the progression mechanics are extremely drawn out, and obviously are just meant to get you playing the game for the longest amount of time as possible. But you know what can I say? I'm a little I'm a dopamine goblin. Okay, I'm falling prey to their tricks. Which is why, for the next installment, GTA 6, I'm never going to play online. No, I can't say that for certain, but they're probably going to do all the same stuff they did with RDR2 and GTA 5. I can't imagine why they wouldn't. Oh, another thing I wanted to say is that looking at like the world building of the game, it's very like satirical of capitalism, but in a way that feels very, how do I put it, cynical. I don't know, it feels too cynical. As in, how do I say this? It feels more of like a nihilistic lens, I should actually say. Not necessarily, it is cynical, it's very cynical. But ultimately the conclusion is more like, oh, this sucks. It feels more like the message is, oh, this sucks. Everything just sucks. Look at how absurd and funny it is. Whatever, I guess. It feels more like that, or like apathetic or nihilistic, than like, yeah, this sucks, but like, here's an answer. It never provides any answers. It's never like, hey, here's like something that isn't just satire and like, look at how stupid and bad everything is. Isn't it crazy how stupid and bad it is? Look, here's another graphic representation of a phallus. Isn't that this sucks? And then just having no like, you know, optimistic elements or like actual answers in it, which is frustrating just from like an you know, media presentation, art, whatever, artistic, etc., etc. And I don't know if that's necessarily going to change in GTA 6. We'll see. I'm guessing probably not. I can't imagine it would. But yeah, I guess the synopsis there is, I appreciate the satirical elements, but it rather feels like the world building rather just feels like, hey, everything sucks and there's nothing you will ever be able to do about it. No, it's one step up. It's one step further than that. It's like the world sucks, and conceptually there is nothing you could ever do about it, which is wrong. Or at least that an answer is never given within the game. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 is interesting because a lot of that was like, you know, because it took place in much earlier historical time frame. A lot of that was like not in RDR2. So you just got to experience like the character writing and stuff. And honestly, maybe that's where Rockstar excels. Perhaps. Okay, give me the heartfelt tale about the rugged outlaw man who contracts, spoiler alert, tuberculosis, and then with his final days decides to try and do as much good as he can, and, you know, through that becoming what you might say a good person. Okay, so the Rockstar writers, developers, when the stuff they make, it has that sauce, but the sauce has to be directed in the right way, and they have to know the limits of their sauce. I'm getting so distracted. Oh my god. Run the project, please. Okay, a good way to describe it, as someone who hasn't actually watched this show that much, is it feels like South Park, basically. It gives that kind of vibe. Not as much as South Park itself, but like that, like, apathetic vibe. All right, what's going on here? Whoa. Yeah, okay. So, let's see. How are we gonna solve this exactly? I think I know. Okay, my mind is blanking. Shit. Shit. No. Here we go. We have the region start and the region end. What's up, Arctic? My day has been pretty chill for the most part. Yeah, so I think we'll set the region start and end in the same way we're setting the positions and stuff. And then we'll like recalculate things after that. Steam right back yet. The page is able to be set up now. I was able to get all my information verified and stuff like that. So I'm now actively able to set up the page. I just need to um finish working on this upgrade menu so that I can have some, stuff to show on the Steam page in that regard. And I guess I don't have to have that, especially if I can quickly, keep adding things progressively to the Steam page. But I don't know, I've kind of locked it in my mind as like a milestone. And I guess at least early on, I'll be able to like showcase, hey, look, there's like this upgrade system in this game. But there's some other stuff I want to make. There's some other stuff I want to implement, like better progression elements that I'm willing to wait for. Is that the objective of the day? Nodes? Here, let me show you what I have so far. Right now, I have nodes, but I need to sort their positions better. I'll show you. I'll show you what's going on here. So if I add a bunch of these nodes in, and I start adding some nested nodes, for a while, like the layout looks fine, but then eventually you start to run into problems like this where they overlap, and I need to fix that. So that's what I'm working on now, and it's going to require me to implement a more robust system. But yeah, I mean, we have all of the spots where these calculations would go, so it should actually be fairly simple. Root node equals null. Node.upgrade position. Maybe we should just set it according to the region. Maybe not. We'll use these sorts of things as like data. Yeah, how about region start equals this? Hold on. Var, I don't know. What's cool? Do you plan on adding any gameplay mechanics exclusively for the Steam page? Not really. Depends on what you mean by that. If you mean like, is there anything I want to add because it would look cool to show on the Steam page, and that's how I like came up with the idea to add that thing? No, not exactly. Maybe like very small mechanics, but I've already forgot like what I might have wanted to do there. But no, it's for the most part it's been, oh, there's a feature I would like to add to the game, and let me find a way to display that on the Steam page. How has the crystal biome been going? Um, haven't worked. I worked on that for like one day. I haven't come back to it for a while. To be honest, part of that was just so I could get an interesting YouTube short. I mean, I'm gonna add the biome. I mean, I guess there's a small chance I could get rid of it. Um, but it wasn't something I was like. It wasn't something I actually needed to add. I suppose it was kind of like a fun thing, for lack of a better term. But again, I do need to flesh out the biomes. I guess the best way to say this would be I'm not currently working on the crystal biome. Like I've kind of left it where it is right now. All right. Yeah, then we can say node.region end equals node.region start plus increment. This could also give us some other options, like being able to visually represent different regions, but I'm not sure that's going to be super necessary. So now we want to put it in the middle of the region. So there's going to be a bit of an offset. But that should basically create the region start and end for our root nodes. Yeah, the distribution still looks fine. And I guess conceptually, if we just keep going out in this direction, I don't think it would ever overlap. It's not making it easy to scroll. Well, I can't scroll. But we will add the ability to do that at some point. I'm not even sure, like, in most playthroughs, you're going to even need to scroll. At least not till the very end. Because, like, having this many nested upgrades seems pretty unlikely. I mean, yeah. Possible, though. It is possible. Okay, then here, what do we want to do? Also, wait a minute. Instead of dividing by the collection size, can we just multiply by the increment? Yeah, I think so. We'll do something similar here. Yeah, we'll say root node. How do we want to do this? Region end minus region root node dot region start. And then we want to divide that by the amount of ports. So if there's 2 ports, it's going to cut that region in half. It's going to have 2 regions, 2 equally sized regions. If there's 3 ports, which would probably never happen, it's going to be 3 equally sized regions. But it can go on forever with this approach. Again, won't guarantee that we won't have any overlaps, but we're getting there. Yeah, so there's the increment. Collection dot size. Collection is going to be all nodes in like all of the ports. We somehow have to get the current port we're in. Okay, well we can add that. Yeah, let's have something to keep track of the index. I guess the output port doesn't. I mean, it would always be 0, I suppose. Input ports to depend port UI. Yeah, let's say port UI dot index equals input ports dot size. Go back to the sort positions function. And now we can use the port index to determine what we need. Although, I guess we still need to determine the size of the connections for the port. Which I guess we could still use the index for. Yeah. Okay. Var. Or how about node dot region start equals root node dot region start plus increment times node root node dot input ports. Or do we just need the index here? In which case we could say node dot output port dot index. Oh no, that wouldn't work. We'd need the connected one. Yeah. Maybe I could incorporate that into the connect function. Okay, a dot index equals b dot index. All right. Yeah, so increment times node dot output port dot index. That should do it. Then we'll say node dot region end equals node dot region start plus increment. Yeah, we need some way to measure this in terms of space, in terms of actual distance, but for now, I guess this should be fine. We do want to change the angle offset, I think. Hold on. Thinking. I guess the connect function could also be used as sort of like a recursive thing in a way, or a way to help gather more information as like a first pass. I think we are calling it before the sort positions function. Node.region start, node.region end. Because I'm thinking, because if we have multiple nodes attached to a port, well then their regions are actually like different. Increment equals root node dot region end minus root node dot region start divided by input ports dot size. I feel like there's more we have to do there. Yeah, we have to divide this further, I'm pretty sure. It might be better to give the ports a region instead. Root node equals null. Node.region start, something times increment. I guess this could work though. It's just we'd have to calculate all of the regions for the ports on the fly. Yeah. Okay, I think we can make this work, although it might not be an ideal approach, but we're gonna say increment divided by equals node dot output port dot connections 0 dot connections dot size, which is going to be the amount that's connected to the port where in the root node. It's getting complicated to explain. So yeah, then we're working with like an even further divided version here. Increment divided by equals. Node.output port dot index, that should be fine. Okay, now I think we want to say node.region start plus equals increment times I know there's like a value here. We have to get like the index of the connection. Yeah. Okay, shit. Never mind, we're gonna do something else for this. We're gonna say connection index int equals 0. And then we'll say a dot connection index equals b dot connections dot size. -1, because we just added it. We should be able to use that. Plus equals increment times node dot output port dot connection index. All right. And then we can say, well, we can basically just add this part down here. I have no idea if this is going to work. Although we have everything we need at this point to determine uh, the value, or to determine our position, which is just going to be in the middle of node start and end. Yeah. Okay. Also, the ad break is about to start, so I'm going to pause the stream for 3 minutes. I'll be back after that, and we can do this. It will be done. Is it going to go? Let's see. All right, I'll be back in 3 minutes. Right, we're back. I mean, we only have so much space to work with here. So there's probably going to be an overlap at some point. In which case, we'll have to figure out how to resolve that. I don't know. I do not know. Like, no matter what solution we choose. I guess we could just keep moving it outwards, but That would really not look good. I'd prefer to have some sort of like sorting thing at that point. Maybe we make like a dummy uh like a dummy node that can be opened up and then show a bunch of other nodes, but then we kind of miss out on the ability to be able to see it all at once. So maybe we could do some sort of wheel. No. Uh shit. I don't know. But they all need to be visible somehow. So yeah. But yeah, at this point, let's say node dot upgrade position equals vector2 node dot region start. We do mix lerp node dot region end 0.5. I think that would do it. And then we use the same thing here, the negative upgrade orbit increment. We do have to use the other node's position though. So root node dot upgrade position dot y. Okay, I guess we'll see what happens here. Is it working? Oh no. It's better now, I think. Yeah. It shouldn't be going past the other one, though. The hell? Why is it doing that? I mean, it's definitely better. For sure. But also, what the fuck are you doing? Already getting that problem, like, right here. We need to add scrolling. Come on. Or maybe the ability to zoom in and out would be good, too. Why am I so fixated on having the ability to just see the entire upgrade layout on a single screen? If I just forfeited that idea. Well, I mean, it's kind of nice because if we have something where you can just see it all at once, that's already going to create like a better interface for the player because they don't have it's compact. It shows all the information you need in one spot. If we design our system around that philosophy, then it should be a pretty good user experience. Let me try testing it in GDScript, make sure there's no errors. Also, I want to play the guitar. Important. Oh my god. Loud. Guitar is making sounds. What the hell? I actually have to take my headphones off. Oh my god. What the hell? I'm so not locked in right now. Jesus. Yeah, it was that one. What the hell? It's like I have to stand, I have to like be in the exact correct temperature. I have to do it between the hours of 2 and 4 p.m. in order for it to not be terrible. I'm also like, you know, holding it in an awkward way. My hand hurts. Uh, haven't played guitar in like 3 days. You know, or like a day or two. Haven't played guitar in like 24 hours. I'm a bit rusty. Oh, we're not even loaded in. Shit. Unfortunate. Unfortunate moment right here. Probably not getting any errors. That doesn't look right. Yeah, so the only other component we could really add to this is if we need more space, we can start taking up space from other regions. We're running out of space really quickly here. But I mean, you can see the idea for the layout. I guess that's interesting because it only has one output port or input port. I don't know. I don't know my own terminology that I've created here. Okay, these ones don't overlap. Interesting. Yeah, I guess here's like an example upgrade tree, I suppose. And I can add like root upgrades in, and it all just works, as you can see. And it's trying to find the space for our other upgrades. But no, I mean, there's no reason this shouldn't be able to take up all this other space, so we might have to make it smarter, so to speak. This is a lot of upgrades, though. I don't know how many we have here, but it is a lot. Yeah, once we start running out of space, I don't know. Make another page, have multiple pages of upgrades. I did say I was just going to increase the radius of this. I could do like a spiral thing, but then if one of the spirals is like overlapping another node, where's the connection going to go at that point? Hmm. You know, these are kind of tall. What if... No. I was thinking, what if we took like one of these and wrapped it around the circle and then did one layer for every upgrade, but that probably wouldn't work much better. This is interesting though, because sort of sequence like this would just create a straight line, but then we could add like an intersection here. This is already a much more interesting upgrade menu, I think. I'm definitely adding upgrades at like a comparable speed. Oh, right, you can add multiple upgrades to the same port. I forgot about that. That's what that looks like in this case. Looks like it's just using the full width of this region for the fire. Although we run into an issue, because this one's going to have a smaller region, I imagine. I guess. Yeah, the region would start right here, like in the middle of them. What's up, Redstone? Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool to look at, even though there's like a lot of things clashing right now. It's like a city builder, or like it's a factory game. I just made it into a factory game. I could implement something like that. What's up, Redstone? What's up, and also, what is it? You need more vignettes. Where? In the game, on my stream? For more depths. Like a vignette, like when the screen, around the screen is dark. In game. For more depths. Maybe when you're like in a cave. Perhaps. Or like a lighting system could be interesting, because then I could add that. I could incorporate that into the chemistry engine, but I need shadow meshes for that. Everywhere? In the standard game? Probably not. I'm not a visual fan of vignettes everywhere. I'm not a fan of that visual approach. Because to me, I feel like it can just like sometimes make things hard to see and reduce the brightness. Maybe in caves though. Maybe where it would make sense. But I don't think it would be worth any aesthetic benefit I could get from it. But I have like things that are like vignettes in certain contexts. Like the damage indicator is kind of just like a red vignette. And yeah, I could do something for when you're in low light conditions. Just have like a cave effect sort of thing. Yeah, I'm forgetting I can add all these other elements and stuff. It's really inconsistent though. I think even the lightest vignettes do a lot to add more contrast while keeping the art how you want. Doesn't have to be a lot. Well, a vignette would just be a mixed overlay, right? So it would actually reduce the contrast, right? You'd be mixing it on top unless you did some sort of multiplication thing. Like you'd just be clouding it out more. If you're talking about adding contrast with the vignette effect, then yeah, I mean for like visual practice, yeah, but if you're talking about like making different elements on screen more distinguishable, then no. But I guess you probably mean just for like visual stylization, like the contrast there, because it would create contrast between the center of the screen and the edges. Right, I keep forgetting the button isn't working. Whoa! No! I use Texture X with the 2D gradient with the radial effect overlaid on top. Hold on, let me see something. It's gonna be world. It's gonna be world. Thought I had something like that somewhere. Oh yeah, overlay. So this is a color rect. And then I have this red vignette here. Kind of a vignette. Guess it's not particularly circular. Looks more like a diamond shape. Distribution sort of thing. Yeah, pretty basic effect. That's like the closest thing I have in my game. Whoa. Yeah, so we were still getting some issues with this. Let me see if I can locate those. You should try having a very light dark vignette. Even like an alpha of 80 is enough. A very light dark vignette, even like an alpha of 80 is enough. Very light dark vignette. I would say it's probably not worth it, aesthetically speaking, for this game. That is what I would say. Just makes it feel more immersive. Wait, no, I think our system is working here. It's just because we're not accounting for the radius of the circles. They do overlap in certain cases. This, hold on. Wait, this could look really, we could make like art with this. This is an art creation tool. Oh shit. What just happened? Oh my god, it's spinning. It's spinning around. How did the legs work? You mean for the dragon? Right now it's just 3D rendered and animated using bones. 3D bones. I want to try making like a cool pattern because I feel like I could do that with this system. Oh, but it is a capsule, so that kind of limits us a little bit. Okay. It needs to be symmetrical. We're making art here. Maybe we should put like a clamp on the angle or something. It would seem placing the things on nothing makes it all spin very odd. Yeah, so the way it works is like these are root upgrades, and then you can have the connected, like nested upgrades to those. So this is basically replacing the card system I had. Oh my god. I guess it makes sense that it would be generating like a pattern though. And then what I want to do is I want to display the dragon in the center of all of this. This is a pretty crazy layout though. Not sure what the hell I've made here. It looks cool. I mean, it's good. And then I can also add multiple connections to the same port, which changes things quite a bit. It seems like our algorithm is working, though. Like, I think it is. We're getting much more consistent spacing here. Yeah, and then it rearranges that. This one didn't change, though, interestingly. We probably don't have to resort the entire tree every time as well. That's another thing. Oh my god. It never ends. You can just keep adding nodes. Oh man. This is working pretty well though. 'Cause if we just add like a margin to account for the radius, we should be golden. as they say. That is a thing people say. Alright, I might have to decrease the size of the overlap rectangles because I cannot access some of the ports. I've tried like a billion things to try and fix this. It does not want to be fixed. Yeah, we need to handle these sorts of cases as well. This is already like an end game level of upgrades, though, to have. Working on netcode at the moment. Nice. Yeah, I can still add root upgrades, and then it rearranges the entire thing. And it's losing a lot of space here. Wow. Oh, not nice. Oh my god. Terrible. Why would you do that? Oh no. Okay, this is too satisfying. What the hell? What have I done? I just want to do this now. Okay, cool. It's a cool system. Cool. It's cool. I like it, but we really need to, like, what the hell is this? Come on. Come on. What's going on here? We could keep track of all of the nodes on all levels and then just redistribute. Punching the desk. Redistribute them equally. You know what else we could do? When we hover the mouse over certain regions, it could like split them apart so we can like search through. And that would actually that could work. Hmm. Also, I want to animate all of these so that they interpolate towards their target position at some point. That would make it look better, I think. Okay, well, I think this is good enough for now. And for getting the Steam page ready, yeah. Um, let's see if we can work on the parameters for a little bit. And I forget exactly how we're implementing those in terms of, like, code. Let me see. Probably gonna have to make some new functions and stuff here. Bind upgrade. Doesn't the exert attribute have something like that? Yeah, really, in terms of fundamental visual elements, all we're really gonna need after this is, well, we're gonna have to be able to serialize and deserialize all of this, but all we need in terms of visual representation after this is just the dragon in the middle. Then it's just all polish after that. I don't know if we'll be able to finish it this week, to be honest. Probably by next week, though, I want to say. Like, I feel like we could at least finish the parameters. And then I find it hard to believe we won't be able to finish at least the dragon by the end of next week. I don't know. Depends. I mean, that could be like a whole thing. I think I'm probably going to take the easiest solution there, though. And it should be fine in terms of performance. Yeah, I don't see it, though. I don't see any of the UI elements. Oh, maybe it's an event attribute. Rate. Attach spin box. Attach UI. So that's what it's called. Where does this function come from? Card attribute. Okay. All right. I think what we'll do is we'll have an attach function, various attach functions on the node UI. So many warnings. Just keep adding up. Yeah, I suppose we could do that. All right, we're going to start by creating a function here called create or attach. Yeah, we're going to call this attach. No, we're going to call it create. Create. The other ones will be called attach, but this is going to be more of like an internal thing. Create parameter slot. And this will return. What will this return? Now, these can all be the same size, these parameter slots. And we'll probably make them like 32 by 32, just a 32 by 32 circle. We can make a sprite for that. I'm not even sure I'm going to worry about that, though, immediately. No, we probably will. Image texture. Or should we create a specific type for this? I don't know. We probably should. Let me do that. All right, I'm going to call this upgrade parameter UI. Extends image rect or image texture. Class name upgrade parameter UI. And we'll just have that ready. Create parameter slot. This is going to return upgrade parameter UI. And I should probably make something to keep track of our parameters. This will change our radius. How's the distribution going to work for this? Is there any container that distributes things in a radial fashion? We could do a spiral. That would waste a little bit of space, though. Is the problem with that? Yeah, I think we'll just do a circle. But that might also waste some space on the actual canvas. Because if we just have one parameter, it's going to, like, double the radius, which, you know, if we have a lot of nodes with single parameters, it could waste space for sure. I could have them, like, coming off of the node as their own separate things, maybe? Then have them, like, pointing down at first. So that if it's just a single parameter, it's not going to take up much space. Let me run the project again and see how that might work. Just look at things. Shit, probably getting an error. gaslighting me again. Yep. Knew it. Okay, everything appears to still be working. Why is it distributing all of them there? What? No. Okay, there we go. Huh. Interesting. How many can we just cram in here? Where the game breaks. Still running fine. But we are getting a bit of a stutter now when recalculating. God. Still not much of a stutter, though. Oh my goodness. What the hell? Okay. I wasn't even looking. Damn it. Let me try again. Gotta get this down. Yeah, I mean, we probably don't have to increase the radius of the entire node. Also, we're leaving, like, a buffer vertically. We could just go vertical with this, you know? We could just do it vertical. Obviously. Of course. Of course. We want to give these icons, though. There's also that to consider. Oh, jeez. Yeah. I'm gonna need a lot of icons for this. Or some way to visually indicate what the parameter is. Which, if we want to be space efficient, is probably going to have to end up being an icon. And then when you hover over it, you'll get a tooltip. You see the actual name of the parameter. I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to... Where's the best spot to put the parameters? Because, like, I could increase the radius, but then again, as soon as we have one of these, the whole entire thing breaks. However, if they were going down, it might work. Godot tooltips piss me off. Like, why are there no settings for them? Yeah, it's true. You might be able to do something with the themes. That might be the only thing that I've seen. I'm not even sure of that, though. Somehow I was able to change the font for this, though. Yeah, how would I do this? It can't go straight down, because there's like a curve with our line. I guess it could go in the direction of the normal. But then is it going to connect there as well? Themes help, but there's no easy way to smart wrap or anything, and scaling. Yeah. I see. And the connections are shader based, so make those look more fancy at a certain point if we have to. Give them like a waviness. In fact, I kind of want to try that just like right now. Do it right now. This is kind of a waste of time, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. And we need a distortion. Float distortion amount equals sine UV dot x times tau plus 1 times 0.5. Let's see if that's correct. No, it is not. Times pi? I think that's right. Wait. Wait. I don't know. Cosine. Then do times tau? Okay, and then like invert that. Costangent. That's a thing, right? Okay. No, I'll just do 1 minus. That's fine. That's okay. Make sure we're doing this in the right order. God damn it. You sneaky game engine. So sneaky. That should be fine, though. UV, or vector 2 pos equals UV. Switch this to pos. Position plus equals. Distortion amount, wait. Position dot y plus equals. Cosine UV dot x times 10 times distortion amount. Okay. It seems to be working. Times 0.1. That'll be our amplitude. Okay, 0.03. Then increase the frequency to like 30. Ooh, I kind of like that. This is looking kind of good. UV dot x times 30 plus time. How fast is that? Not very fast, I must say. Neat. Do 0.01. Feels right. And then maybe can I give it more of like a glowy effect somehow? I don't know. But it already has like a directional aspect with this. We're definitely going to make it look more cool at some point, though. Maybe I could use like a texture or something. No, maybe just a one-dimensional noise texture would be good. Uniform sampler 2D. Just call it noise for now. New noise texture 2D. Doesn't matter that much. Oh, but then how do I sample this? Okay, I'm not actually sure how I want to texture sample this. We'll hold off on that part. Or we could add the noise to the distortion. Ooh. I'm going to hold off on that as well. I'm actually just going to clear this for now. I would like to make it look glowy, though, if possible. I think we could probably do that by turning down this. Okay. Not exactly what I was hoping for. Factor equals absolute, or factor equals maximum. Factor 0, would that fix it? It seems like a signage issue. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Canvas item, render mode, blend add. Okay. Supposedly this is additive now. I think it's gonna look a little bit better. We'll definitely add like a uniform to adjust the color. Yeah, let me see how that looks. Give it some sort of style. Nice. Little connections. It's going in the wrong way. The animation. That's fine though. We just reverse it. Also, the additive is not looking exactly how I'd hoped. It's fine. There's like a billion things we can do to fix all this. It looks cool though. Already. Just with this simple adjustment. Yeah, we need to reverse the direction. Let me go into shader editor, and instead of adding time, we'll just remove time. Subtract, you could even say. Oh god, we still haven't made the things. Wasting too much time. That makes more sense though. Neat. Okay. Let's keep going. Shut up. Uh, yeah. The parameters, I'm not sure. Not sure what I want to do. Okay, let me look again. Let me look at what we have. Allow me to see. What if we got rid of the parameters? Frank. No, that'd be lame. We're not doing that. So, like, you know, if the arrangement goes smoothly, then we probably have enough room to increase the radius. Like, if it's consistently all arranged well, like this. But then, of course, as soon as there's something like that, it'll break. Very unfortunate. If we send them in the direction of the normal, it could work, though. Yeah. We could only fit, like, one or two parameters, though. And it would kind of get in the way of the connections. So, like, what do we do there? I think what to do? What if we had like knobs coming out of them And we could like dials, we could like rotate them to increase or decrease the value. I don't know. I mean, it would still be visually represented. It might be obscured by the ports, though. So there's that to consider. Thought the ad break was about to start like way sooner. Okay. No, it starts in 10 minutes. To be honest, I'm not even sure like the curves are going to be necessary here. It looks fine without curves, to be honest. To be completely honest. It's kind of nice though because it does give it like a directionality. That helps. I would say. Should make it like blue or something, I don't know. It's definitely better than it was at the beginning of the stream. That's for sure. Yeah, and as for the uniforms, I don't know. I don't know anything. Trying to think of like the most compact way we could do this. Again, it could be something where we click on it and then it shows us like a shrunk version below it. I don't know, maybe with those little dials I was talking about. But that would mean we couldn't like type in the values manually for anything. We would need sliders for everything, which I guess we might be able to do. I'm not sure. How does it work in Morrowind? How does Morrowind do it? I need to know this. Could be pretty game breaking though if we don't impose limits. Yeah. Could it be slider time? Okay, we're gonna do the circular thing. I've decided. We're doing the circle. We're sticking to the plan. I freaking love circles. Oh my god. Okay, create parameter slot. We don't have a set radius thing yet, I don't think. Let me create one really quick. Set radius. Radius equals p radius. And we could use this as like a parameter function at some point. What? Inner radius times 2? Okay, I see. Wrong function. I mean, I guess that's kind of all there is to it. We do need to change the shader parameter. There is that. Oh, we need it to be an instance uniform, I think. Yeah. Instance uniform float. Uniform instances are not yet implemented for... No! No! Oh, shit. That's not good. Really? They're like sprites, but UI. Come on. They're like no 2Ds, but UI. Let's be real. Are you serious? Man. Bullshit. This is bullshit. Well, how am I supposed to do any of this then? Fine. We're not even going to worry about changing the radius then. For now. Of the shader. Set radius. Radius. Wait, hold on. Var new radius equals. Let's say we can fit 6 parameters per ring. Or you know what? We'll just set it to a constant amount. So, what's the default radius? 20. We're going to set the new radius to 40. Double. Yeah. Not all code paths return a value. You should, like, stop saying things to me. Yeah, okay. So then we make the parameter upgrade parameter UI dot new add child parameter parameters dot append parameter. Then we do some position stuff here. So parameter dot position dot no. No. Oh. You need to use a texture rect. Right. Parameter dot position equals vector2 dot up times, oh my god, times 20. How do I center these again? Oh god. Oh no. We're getting how to center things. Dot rotated. Right, we need to get like the index. Var index equals parameters dot size. Var rotation equals. I guess we could use a rotation. Okay, rotation equals float index times pi times tau. What the hell? Float index divided by parameter float parameters dot size. No, we probably want to make this 6. Although that could work too, just for now. We might not, we're probably not going to need more than like 2 parameters on any given thing. I cannot imagine. Not all code paths return a value. Okay. Parameter dot position equals vector2 dot up dot rotated. Parameter dot size equals vector2 20 by 20. Parameter dot texture, and just for now, we're going to use the single port icon. So there's something I'm missing. Right. Minus parameter dot size times 0.5. Yes, that is the one. And then we return a parameter. Okay. Now let me just, for testing purposes, give all of them just 2 empty parameter slots. Just 2. All I want to see. go. It might not be far out enough as well from the icon. We'll see. Oh my god. What the hell? Okay, we're running through GD script. There should be multiple. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. Why is the image the size of the radius? What's going on? Who made that programming choice? What an incredibly intelligent developer. Indeed. I mean, the drop detuning bar chord actually sounds pretty nice as just a chord. Can I do this? Is this allowed? This might sound good. Hold on. And then... Okay, work in progress. What's gonna happen? We're gonna get no errors. Fantastic. Beautiful. With like little bubbles or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I see. It's using full rect. And if I change the size, probably isn't going to change that. Okay. Damn. How about we try and do this differently then? Main icon dot position equals size divided by 2 minus vector 2 and 10 because we want to make the size 2020. Also known as the current year. Basically. If you squint your eyes. Snooze the ad break. Okay. Okay, it seems like our icon is sized correctly and positioned and that sort of thing. Not able to fit in nearly as many upgrades right now. The index. Then it's just gonna center it at the top left, right? So I think what we want to do is plus vector 2 radius times 0.5. Do it again. Seems like we're not getting the correct rotation either, though. What's going on there? Yeah, we're only getting one. No worries, Arctic. Welcome back. Vector 2 dot up times 20. Why is that so far? I do not understand. Like, the index is not changing at all. I'm only seeing one of the things. Create parameter slot, create parameter slot. Oh, we have to... Pretty sure we have to rearrange all of the parameters as we do this. So, for parameter... Wait. For... Shoot. Might have to create a separate function for this. What's up, Maduka? For child parameter in parameters. Just use an incrementer. I plus equals 1. Rotation equals... Why don't I, like, use a float here? I divided by parameters.size times tau. Then we want to set the variables for this. I guess the size doesn't have to change, or the texture. Just the position. What is that? Oh, yeah. Plus vector 2 radius times 0.5. No, just radius, I think. That's already going to be halved. Okay. Run. What do we get? Okay, cool. So we'd have like little things we could type in here, basically, is the idea. However, I think I have to think of this a little bit differently. Oh no. Just closed it out. No, it's like the pitch is too far apart. Okay, what is this, a spy movie? What the hell? That's spy noise. This is, I don't even know. It's not tropey enough. There's no clear trope I can associate that with. Whoa, that one's nice. This is the happy sound. This sound goes happy. Okay, I'm kind of copying the Disco Elysium one, but bear with me. Look, why don't I just play that one? But, like, at a different pitch, because I'm getting bored of the normal pitch. Oh, no. Wait, doesn't count. Doesn't count. Wait, what? What are you making besides music today? I'm trying to work on the upgrade menu for my dragon game. And progress has been pretty slow but consistent. I just haven't been streaming a lot. But I'm trying to get ready for a Steam page. And I've been like distracting myself with a bunch of random stuff. Including this guitar. So it's been fun though. But no, we're making good progress. I think I'm gonna just adjust the positioning here, and then I'm going to end stream. And then tomorrow, we can add the dragon in the middle. Wait, no, we do have to add the actual parameters, though. Okay, parameters and dragon tomorrow, maybe, question mark. Polish, if we can. And then after that, I can do the Steam page. Well, I gotta do serialization as well. Probably next week. Probably by the end of next week. Seems pretty clear at this point. I can get it done by then. Also, what was I looking for here? Upgrade node UI. That radius. We have inner radius, right? Yeah. Okay, that's good. And then I'll stream it for you if needed. Yeah, right. The game, if you're saying the game, I wouldn't mind you streaming gameplay of the game. Okay, this sound complements what I'm saying. I could even do this. Wait a minute. Doo-doo. I feel like there's something missing though. My fingers! Oh god. Something like that. I've done it before, but I'm not a big one. At least it's getting some stuff out there, kinda. I've done it before, but I'm not a big one. But at least it's getting some stuff out there, kinda. Can I see some of the game if there's anything to show? Yes. Although I've used all 3 snoozes, so there's going to be another ad break in 1 minute and 23 seconds, but I can show it after that. Or I could show it now. I probably have enough time to show it now. Hold on, let me do one quick thing. Big streamer, that is. Yeah. I don't get ads, so... Alright. Maybe we can do this, then. Well, it'll be more feasible. I'll do it before the ad break. I have 53 seconds. Okay. I'll do it now. Wait, what? What? Oh, I'm trying to run the editor. Yeah, there's not much to show right now. I have a lot of stuff, like, pulled out of the ground. But I just blew right past the world art section. Try that again. Yeah, so this is kind of just what I have set up right now. And then I'm trying to get the upgrades going again, but I've started working on like a new upgrade menu that is node based and automatically arranges the best layout, and it kind of looks like this, although I'm currently trying to experiment with adding parameters to that, and you can see there's overlapping in certain cases. Yeah, these are like the two main screens of the game right now. And it's kind of it was a lot easier to see before I increased the radius of this, so maybe I'll do something about that at some point. Yeah, the ad break is starting now, so I'll be back in 3 minutes, and then I'm just gonna make like a quick adjustment, and then I'll probably end stream. But since I'm doing it like right after an ad break, maybe I'll just like play a couple tunes on my guitar, perhaps. All right, I'll be back in 3 minutes. All right, we're back. So yeah, the idea here is that these... Okay, it seems like the icon got messed up somehow. But... yeah. The idea is that these circles here will have like input fields, so I could like type something in there. We might have to make them larger though for that. Maybe at least like 32 by 32. But it is taking up a lot of space, so... yeah. Maybe I'll try to figure something out to do about that as it pertains to that subject. And yes, the tunes. I might play a couple tunes after I do this, because this is literally going to take like 5 seconds. Uh, yeah, so instead of 20, let's do inner radius. Oh, but there's also like, we have to worry about the radius of the thing itself. No, this should be fine. We're centering it. Okay. I think we'll be fine. No, perhaps not. We'll do +4. +4 should be fine. Make sure these are in parentheses. And what I'm also going to do is instead of doing this, I'm going to do for I in random range 0 to 2. So we'll get like a random number of parameter slots. Is it inclusive or whatever, what the term is? Okay, I'm assuming, yeah, either 0 or 1. Okay, so I think I'm on the right track here. I mean, we could add like 6, but then it would make it really unlikely that we would get 0. So let me do -6, and then I'll do max, then 0. So like half of them will have 0. Okay. Run. And then at most it will have 6 slots, 6 parameters. So we can just see what the UI arrangement would look like. Cool. And it's centered pretty well. None of these are getting... Okay, there we go. So yeah, this is what it would look like with the added parameters. Kinda, sorta. It's getting a little more visually confusing. Whoa. And we got 6. It works, though. It works. Yeah, I might have to try and, like, compress this somehow. At a certain point. This is more so what I want the icon sizes to be, though. That one is uncentered for some reason. Why? Why are you doing this? We're setting the size right here. It's not because of the texture, is it? I do not know. I could test a couple other icons, maybe? That one's messed up. It really does seem like it's just connected to the resolution, because this one's fine. That one's fine. That one has a higher resolution, so it gets messed up. Yeah. Why? Why? Let me try getting like a test thing here. And then let me use like fire. Expand mode keeps size. I think we want to do fit width, just either of those. I think that's all we need. Yeah, the expand mode. Main icon dot expand mode equals fit width. Maybe there's more though. Let's just see what happens. And we want to do that before we set the size, probably. Be better than doing it the other way, I think. Shit. Unfortunate. Okay, what other stuff do we have here? Stretch mode. Expand mode. Okay, let me try it through here. And use or fire. Fit width seems to be doing it. Maybe we have to do it after. Perhaps. I don't know if maybe it's the stretch mode. No description. Why no description? Why is this the thing I'm getting stuck on? Ignore size? Let me try that. I don't know if I should set it before or after. Maybe it doesn't matter. I feel like if anything I should do it before, actually. Because before it kept setting the size, it kept clamping the size. Come on, why? Why are you doing this? Seriously, there's no, like, discernible calls. Main icon. And of course, if I create it through the editor, set the texture to fire, change the position, set the expand mode to ignore size, and then set the scale to the size to 20. It works here. But it doesn't work when I run that for some reason. Wait 5 minutes for it to save this scene. That was faster that time. What the hell? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's doing this. I don't know how I can fix it. Ditto can't decrease size on texture rect created with code. The minimum size? Custom minimum size. Maybe it's like update minimum size? Sure. Maybe it was doing that in the editor automatically. I don't know. We will find out in a bit. Nothing I'm doing is making any sort of impact. Expand? Okay. Stretch mode equals scale. I think is the one we want. If only there was a maximum size. This works though, using the anchors and offsets preset. Which confuses me. Doing my Reddit research. I already looked at stretch mode. It's not doing anything. Why? Why is this like not working at all? Not in containers. I could try putting it in like a frame control node, but I suspect that it's just going to expand that. What if we try setting the texture after everything? It's probably not going to do anything. Who knows? Okay, whatever. I don't know how this works, clearly. Alright. Cool. And then we have these parameters we can adjust whenever we would like to. Maybe not the best system for this, but it will suffice for now. I said I was gonna play some. Well, I said I might. I think I don't know. But I've actually spent like a while trying to figure that out. So I don't think the performance of tunes is required, actually. So I think I might just end it here. Tomorrow we're going to try to add the dragon in. Yeah. Well, I think we'll start working on the parameters first. Then we'll worry about the dragon. Then we'll worry about serialization. Then we'll worry about polish. We're not going to finish it this week. Okay. I'm ending it here. Thank you everyone who stopped in. Thank you Maduka. Thank you Redstone. Thank you Arctic. I will be live tomorrow. Tomorrow at 8. If my stream schedule says 7:30, it is a lie. I will try to change it. Yeah, take care, everyone. See you tomorrow. Thanks again. See you later, etc. Have a good one.